Why couldn't I be confident? Why couldn't I be physically gifted? Why couldn't God just give me the same gifts as all these other people? I want to be this high. I want to be this talented. I want to excel in this sport. You know what you're doing right there? You're taking the craftsmanship of God and just calling it a mistake. You're taking the divine intervention that God created for you, the exact idea that He had when He created you, and you're just saying it's defective. Why? You're taking the creator of universe's vision, purpose, and plan for you and just shrugging it off. You're not satisfied with it because you're not XYZ attribute, because you're not XYZ good at one certain skill, because you don't excel in one area and you're too busy comparing yourself to others. That's not what God had intended for you. Trust me, I've been through that myself. It's human nature. But the plan and purpose that God has for you is far more than we can even imagine. And I'm here to make you guys realize that the purpose that God has for you is far greater than the potential you even think you have. The traits you're trying to change about yourself, the things that you don't like about yourself, are the exact reasons why God made you. He made every person with an intended purpose. Take it in. No two things are the exact same. You may think you're lacking in one area, but it's actually a benefit. It doesn't matter what things you're lacking in or what things you excel at. God has made you with an intended purpose to uplift the kingdom. Think about it. He called you. Your purpose far exceeds more than you can understand. You're looking at everybody else as competition. No. Other people that have certain gifts are being utilized to uplift the kingdom. Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 says, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness." In our likeness. Notice how it doesn't say like everyone else. This is because, like I just alluded to before, God's intended purpose for each and every one of us is to uplift the kingdom. Because someone else is doing it at a faster rate or a slower rate, it does not impede your path and your progress. You have to understand that. Everybody can eat within the kingdom of God. You can eat, I can eat, your whole friends can eat. So you can't be envious of other people because, like I said, the intended purpose for God's plan is to culminate all our unique gifts and skill sets together to help uplift the kingdom. So how does that actually work when we're so faced with the dilemmas of worrying about our problems and comparisons with other people? How do we actually stay in tune with focusing on uplifting the kingdom together and focusing on utilizing our God-given talents? So what does this look like? What this looks like is acknowledging what not to do. What you're not going to do is go on social media and start making comparisons and seeing the false reality that is social media. You can't acknowledge that and see that as everyday life and make comparisons. That's not what God had intended for you. If He wanted you to compare, He wouldn't have made you with His exact same image that He had intended for you. He would have made you a copy of someone else. You don't want to be a copy, do you? I would hope not, right? Like, you are a unique person. You have a unique skill set. And you may be at times doubt what you're capable of. And that's understandable. You know, you have constant pressure from outside noise, from the world, from family members, from friends. It's natural. I understand 100%. But it's like, if you're only going to put those limiting factors on yourself, who's going to be there to uplift you? If you're only going to listen to the people saying negative things or them doubting you, and then you start reinforcing that in your own head and you're doubting yourself, who's there to uplift you? No one. So you have to face it. You have to work alongside God to help understand and realize, hey, God, thank you for these gifts. Let me actually put in some effort. Even some things that I'm lacking, it doesn't matter. Let me utilize the gifts that you gave me to be able to maximize my skill set as well as maximize my gifts to be able to uplift others and bring joy to the kingdom of God. It's funny because if we look in Corinthians, it shows us how we can best utilize our gifts. 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 18 puts this correctly, stating, "But now God has his set members, each one of them in the body just as He pleased." You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are not a backup plan. You are not a runner-up. You are first in God's eyes, and you are created with that image and likeness in mind. It's hard to keep that in the back of your mind sometimes because, like I said, there's always a constant pressure of other people nagging you or weighing you down. But you have to understand, you're only limiting yourself when you have other people limiting you too. If you don't uplift yourself or acknowledge that God's also in the back working to help uplift you and utilize your strengths, you're just taking God's gifts and shrugging it off. There's even a beauty in the fact that God gave you these gifts. He's not forcing you to use them. but he gave you the opportunity to use them. So why not maximize it? You have all the tools in the toolbox, you have all the pens in the pencil case. Why not use what's at your disposal? Why just limit yourself to what you think you can do as opposed to what you know God is capable of? You and I both have human understanding. We can't even understand or fathom what God's capable of. And it's far greater than what you and I can imagine. So if we're going to try and limit ourselves and try to put limits on God, who are we to do that, you know? So we can play the victim all we want, wondering, oh, why didn't God make me like this? Or we can be the victor and the hero and figure out, how can I maximize the gifts that God gave me? So how can I honor God in this life and also utilize the gifts that he gave me? Well, first, stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Everybody is at their own set stage within life, and you can't look at someone's progress and think it's a reflection of where you are and where you're supposed to be. Everybody's path is different, so you have to acknowledge that some things will be different for you as opposed to them. Their setbacks may be different from your setbacks. Your achievements and goals are different from their achievements and their goals. So you cannot place the comparison game in order to try and get ahead or make yourself feel better or worse about the current position that you're currently in. Secondly, start developing your gifts. Like I said, you're going to call upon God to be able to utilize the gifts that he's given you. So it's best you find ways to actually utilize them properly and effectively. Most importantly, focus on what you can control. There's so many things that come within the outside scope of your vision where you're like, it's a matter of focusing on the controllables, acknowledging that it's beyond you, and then doing everything in your power to, like I said, maximize the gifts that you've been bestowed upon to be able to utilize the things within your power that you know you're capable of to actually propel yourself forward. Remember, Matthew 25 verse 15, God gives each of us an ability. He doesn't make a mistake with you. What if everybody wanted to be the lead singer in a band? Everybody wanted to be the quarterback. Everybody wanted to be the point guard controlling the offense. Everybody has their designated role, and don't let your role impede the path of other people's role. So like I said, within the kingdom of God, you have the intended purpose that God has set out for you. And if you see someone else fulfilling their purpose, don't nag them, don't be ashamed, don't try to steer them away from their path. Support them, encourage them, because their path is similar to yours in the fact that they're uplifting the kingdom of God. Don't you want other people to utilize their God-given gifts too? I mean, I would. You shouldn't be scared or worried or even fearful of other people coming to take your spot, because like I just alluded to, you have gifts. And you need to be able to see through it that your gift is unique and it has a purpose. So friends, I just want to conclude with the understanding that God created you with an intended purpose. Don't shy away to try to nudge others off their path. God reiterates and emphasizes that he created you as an original. Don't go looking at others to try to be a copy or duplicate. You are unique. And I genuinely believe that your gifts are utilized and will bring many joys to yourself as well as the kingdom of God. Thank you and God bless.